Trigger on!
Oh my god, that was so intense. I love it.
Doing a power-up there.
And I'm like, I put my hands in the air.
I thought that we were doing an MHA pod and World Trigger pod crossover, but actually you were channeling Dragon Ball Z. I didn't expect that.
I've been listening to too much of, there's like a Dragon Ball song that's like, that's Dragon Ball. I barely even Dragon Ball, but there's like a Dragon Ball song that I've stuck in my head now, so I have that energy. I will do.
Can't wait for the B-rank War of Power.
Welcome, D-Roll, to the Duckface Diaries. We are a World Trigger read-through podcast aiming to discuss the World Trigger manga, volume by volume. I'm Wensleydale. Shit!
Shit!
I'm Wensleydale Cheddar. There we go.
And I'm Hoven with an H, and this month we're looking at volume 16 of World Trigger, which covers chapters 134 to 142, and is also adapted across the anime Season 2, episodes 4 to 6.
That is correct, and today we welcome a very special guest. She is the host of the My Hero Academia podcast, as well as the co-host of the View from the Top, a Haikyuu podcast. She's the second Canadian we had on the show, which is appropriate since it's the volume where we have Hughes on the cover. You know, Hughes, the famous Canadian. It's going to make sense in the subsequent volumes. And best of all, she is a fellow Usopp enjoyer. So how are you doing, Kendra? So lovely to have you on the show.
I am here, and yay, Usopp enjoyer. Sorry, I put my hands up again to cheer, and I was like, wait, I need to talk. But I am here to talk about World Trigger, which I just got into this year. So I am a newbie, people, but I'm caught up. So ha.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a brand fresh new perspective from a host of a really great show. I was going to say something fancier, but I lost it. Oh well. How are you doing? What have you been up to?
Good. I work retail, and right now it is not fun. Just because, inventory issues, customers are mad. There's a lot of customers. I'm just like, why? And also, bonus, my work's like, oh, actually, you asked for today off, but can you come in, actually? So I was like, okay, fine, I'll come in at 5, so.
Oh, dear. That's a bit of a shame.
My workday today consisted of helping someone buy a Halloween costume, so that was fun.
I did go to Chapters, and I bought some manga and some presents for friends, and I tried to find World Trigger just so I could, decide to buy some, but I couldn't find it. It's not in Chapters. Where is World Trigger?
It's very much they'll have it in big comic book stores, but anything a bit smaller, you're probably not going to find it over here in the UK.
Oh dear. Well, we don't have it localized in Poland either, so yeah, got to rely on VPNs, and that's it.
I'm just double checking. Chapters does have it, but it seems like it's not available in stores. Some of them are, but there is a shortage because of printing and manga selling out really.
Yeah, and not a huge problem with My Hero, though.
And I bought some Jujutsu Kaisen today.
Nice. I'm just catching up with that right now, actually.
Oh, it's so good. I have, a secret Patreon podcast where we talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, and it's just I think I know what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because I got up to date with the Shibuya incident stuff, but I kind of followed it week to week and lost the thread of it very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And then watching through the anime got me back on board, and now I'm like, okay, I know who everyone is now. I can do this.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just watched the first season and read some of the chapters to catch up, but I think I've mostly forgotten who everyone is, so I will have to read it all over again to find out. But everyone keeps recommending it, and it is one of the titles in the Jump Vault that I've been meaning to give a proper read through.
I highly recommend it, but World Trigger.
Yeah, let's get back to business. Today's agenda is so first we're going to have a bit of an interview with Kendra about her World Trigger journey. And then we're going to do a World 16 summary, yes, because we have 16 worlds in this. Volume 16 summary of World Trigger, created, of course, by Daisuke Ashihara. What is with my tongue today? Translated by Toshikazu Aizawa. Touch-up and lettering done by the great Ace Core Chrisman. Designed by Sam Elsway and edited by Ray Thirst. So then we're going to do our general thoughts, do some Ashihara Comments Corner, where we discuss the author notes and volume extras, as well as the spoiler corner afterwards. I don't have much to say, but we'll ask by that time Kendra if she has any spoilery favorite moments from World Trigger, as well as what she thinks about the current arc and where it's going. After that, we're going to do a bit of a Q&A segment at the end. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
No. Yes.
Well, too bad. We're doing it anyway. Shall we get to the interview?
Let's do it. So.
How you get?
Yeah, so, me. Okay.
Shit!
Shit! So, how did your World Trigger journey start?
It's a bit messy because I remember it coming back in Jump, and I was just annoyed that it was in Jump and got like a recap, but Haikyuu wasn't in the English magazine yet because it was before the Vault. And then I think Marion at Microwavy was talking about it a lot, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. Because at first I just seen like pictures for the anime of Kuga and he's holding a square, and I was like, he just throws squares at people? I didn't know anything. So I started to read it a little bit. I read the first few chapters. I might have got like 10 or so chapters in, but I got turned off when it was talking about Katori's breasts, when it was like, oh, I want her, like, she's kind of had like an unlikable personality where she was very like harsh, and it's like, oh, I want her to be more likable, so like, oh, I'm gonna up her breast size, and I was like, she's like 14, I'm out. But then like, I think that's a very minor thing to stop reading it over, and I was just kind of like, I wasn't super into it yet. But then I kind of forgot about the series, and I started skimming the new chapters and got into it, and I eventually broke, and I started rereading it from the start and being like, okay, I like this, I get it. And it's not really fan servicey like at all. So I think I was like, it was definitely an overreaction on my part. I apologize, World Trigger.
I can understand that assumption given a lot of the track record with Jump Mangaka and that sort of thing.
I was thinking about that comment a lot. At first I thought it was Ashihara being like, yeah, okay, I fucking know why you think she's unlikable. Here, let me show you how your perspective will change. But then we got some skeevy comments from him in the volume extras, and I was like, okay. It doesn't really fit how you write your series, but okay, you do your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It just kind of like threw me for a loop, and then it was like, okay, the story managed to hook me. Because at first I was expecting white-haired main character. I expected him to be the main character, but it was a nice surprise that it was Osumo. And Osumo throws me off because he's like almost the name of the twins in Haikyuu. So I keep wanting to call him that.
Yeah, there's also an Osamu there.
Speaking of, what are some of your favorite characters in the series?
Osumo is definitely one of my favorites, just that he's like not super strong, and he's not even like a super great tactician either. He just like likes his friends, and he is like trying really hard. And I think he has good strategy as well, but still like everyone else is like, no wait, he has to be the captain. Katori is a kind of surprise one because she's a bit of a brat, but she's strong, and I like that she's able to be that she doesn't have to be likable. She can be like kind of the jerk. Everyone tries to work around her, but she still says stuff that's often like very right. She makes me think of Zoro a little bit, but not really, but just kind of I like how she I think in this volume, when it's like, oh, they want to be, they can't be your parents die and you get to be A rank or something, and I was like, I don't know, I think she has a cool, like, harsh... It's a nice perspective to have a female character who's, like, able to be a bit of an asshole.
Yeah, plus she and Wakamura, the blonde glasses guy, they have a bit of a Zoro-Sanji-like relationship.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't get away with it, which is nice. Like, there's talking back and kind of, like, how do we work around her? How do we work with her? Because she's the captain. She's their ace. They need to work with her. Chika, I really like her, but I'd add the caveat, like, if she talked more, and I think that might be some stuff for, like, the spoiler area. And then also, I just wrote down Pompadour Man, and I forget which one that is.
Toma.
Oh, as well as Buff Sniper. I like him as well, because he's kind of like...
Buff Sniper. Which one is that?
Composed Beefcake?
Yes, Composed Beefcake.
Yes, okay.
Yes, they're a different nickname. But I just like it because, like, for snipers, you expect them to be a bit more, like, spindly, but it is nice that he can still handle his own. Like, if you cornered him, he could kick your ass.
I'm looking forward to hearing all the nicknames you've got for all the characters. I love it.
I looked up names, so hopefully it won't be as bad, but I think I do call Rintrou the kid a few times, because I was like, I forget what this kid's name is. He's cute.
We could call him Ducky Trotty, because he's always trotting around. And he's doing the duck face.
He doesn't have a
Yeah, see, even in serious moments, I wonder how he's going to be drawn when like we have some sort of a time skip and he's going to be older. If he's still going to be drawn the same way.
And he manages to always be like, you're right. He's always Duckface ears, even serious moments. I was like, how do you do that? You're just like, hello, guys. How to go?
We definitely don't do enough duck faces on Duckface Diaries. So we should try to talk more like this.
Or get some Pringles and put them in your mouth and be like, hello, guys.
So, Kendra, you have by some means been given a trigger of your own. If you could personalize your trigger with your own activation phrase and pose, what would they be? I'm not doing that for the other questions.
I think, I have a few silly ones. Trigger, yip, yip. Like Avatar state, yip, yip, appa, yip, yip.
Oh, that's great.
Or it's going like, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. And just like just do memes at the neighbors. They won't understand it, but I'll just like meme at them.
Mine would just be yelling, "Hello, Tyrannosaurus Alan," if I was going by that metric.
Or like I wear glasses, but like I wouldn't need them in my trigger Treon body, so I would like take them off and put them in my pocket and be really dramatic.
Nice.
And then hello and welcome to my trigger. My world now at my podcast, and then like throw down a mic.
What is up, Trigger? It's your A rank. I hate myself. Okay, next question.
Your D&D characters have been transported to the World Trigger universe. What type of role would they take on? I.e., type of attacker, engineer, operator. And which squad do you think they'd fit in with the best?
I do have a D&D character. It's a halfling ranger named Bree Greenbottle. At first it was Bree like the cheese, but then I chickened out and changed it, but cheese solidarity.
Yay!
And I would be an all-rounder, because like in D&D I use a bow and arrow, but I do have short swords. So it's kind of like gunner, but like could you have like a bow and arrow trigger? Would that work? I don't think so.
If you were an A rank, you could customize that, yeah.
But like maybe a sniper? I don't, because like part of the reason I want like a bow and arrow, I was like, I don't want to get hurt. And like it's D&D, you're gonna fight and shit's gonna come after you. And I just because I read this volume, I like Kazaki. He's nice. He's not crazy like some of the other people. No one's really like out of it, but I'm just like, he's nice. But my character's like rash and blunt, but I do like people telling me what to do. So Kazaki has a good plan and be like, okay, do this, and I'll be like, yes sir, and then I won't die, or maybe I will. I don't know. It's World Trigger. You don't die. You can bail out.
I think some operators died and engineers in the large-scale invasion, which was yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I have some thoughts for the operators for the spoiler section, because I think that's gonna just a reminder that like they I think like the neighbors weren't aiming to, in like the main invasion, weren't aiming for operators really, right? Or we don't think they were. They're just kind of like destroying shit.
I think it was just Anadora who did that, and Anadora went off to do his own thing. But yeah, they were mostly there to like capture agents, I think.
But I could not be an operator. I have ADHD. People would die. It would not be good.
Same here. Focus is not my strongest suit.
An assortment of the World Trigger cast forms a volleyball team in an all-new sports anime spin-off. Which set of characters would you want to watch the high-flying antics of?
This one was hard. I did this like a half hour before, but I just had like the character page open. I think Kuga as a spiker, and then he could be kind of like the Hinata. He's short, but he can jump really high, and he's also like crazy powerful. Fuyushima, he's the ace because he's hot, okay? I just like him. Kagura, guy who can kind of read your mind, a spiker. I put a lot of people down as spikers, and then I started putting down tall people as blockers. Like, Ikoma, I think, is the guy with glasses.
Yeah, he has like goggles.
Yeah, or no, Ikoma, or he's the guy who has I don't know. I like him. He's cool. He can be I just looked at the characters I recognized. I apologize for this section.
He's the one with the goggles who likes eggplant curry.
Yes. Kakizaki is a middle blocker because I think he could do good of like strategizing of like when to jump. Satomi blocker as he's tall. I think that's the guy with glasses who does the manic laughter or something at sometimes. Because Kazuma, he's on Kusakabe squad.
Oh yeah, okay. He gets introduced a few episodes in. I often forget. He hasn't been featured much, but he's a fun character.
Chika could be a Libero. She doesn't want to spike at people. She's too strong, so she just has to like catch the ball. And, like, Jin, I guess, could, like, predict where the ball would go and he could be a good libero. There's a lot of people in volleyball. I didn't do all of them. I kind of gave up, but...
That's okay. I left it vague as to just, like, which set of characters, but it didn't have to be the whole team, so...
Sorry, I think I should have done teams. Oh, well, I just opened the character thing. I was like, I think these people are cool.
And last of all, put one My Hero Academia character into World Trigger and one World Trigger character into MHA. Which would you pick and why?
I would put Quirkless Deku into World Trigger, because I think it'd be really cool for him learning to fight, and he could be kind of Osamu, but, like, a bit more strategic and, like, using, like, oh, this is what people do, and, like, learning people's moves. But I wonder if you'd only have a bit of Trion, or, like, no Trion, so, like, he, like, artificially gets Trion or something, might be, I don't know. Chika in MHA, because I want Aizawa to teach her, and then she can, like, be her own person and be cool. And I'd be like...
What kind of quirk would Chika have?
Ooh, that's the hard thing, because she would have something, like, really powerful, but I don't know. Give her Bakugo's quirk for the hell of it. This is just off the top of my head, and just be like, but she's afraid to use it would be the thing. Or Eri, like, having the kind of, like, rewinding stuff. Give her something that is so powerful that she can't really control it, and she needs to, like, learn to do, or like she's afraid to use, or like what we learn about Chika, like she can't shoot people, she can't use her quirk.
I think an energy storing and releasing quirk would be a really cool one for her. Kind of like the move Bide from Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, give her all for one. Give her one for all. Quirk storage. She's the main character now. Sorry, Deca. Chika's here.
Oh, yeah, that would be incredible. You know what? When it comes to Bakugo's quirk, I was thinking, since he, like, uses sweat as nitroglycerin, I was thinking Osamu would fit his quirk more, because he's a sweaty boy.
Ooh. Yes. Oh. And I realized, did we skip the favorite moments in the series, or were we going to save that one for the spoilers?
Is it from past this volume or not?
I kind of split it. I did some for pre this volume, and then for spoiler section, I kind of did post this volume. What did I write?
That's perfect then.
I think the first invasion fight against Idara in the training room is, like, my favorite thing, just because I love turning, like, human tech against monsters that don't understand, or, like, okay, monsters, I apologize, like, creatures or, like, villains that don't understand what it is. So, like, having, like, infinite Trion, and it's kind of a prequel to Osamu using infinite buckshot against a random guy who's using chameleon. So it's kind of, like, cool ways of using stuff. I think Osamu asking Jin to join his squad is, like, another one, because it's kind of something that you'd almost expect. Like, it's like, kind of the reader might be like, oh, why don't they just ask him? But then, like, he does, and it doesn't work. And it's like, that's why you don't ask him. And then the fight before the current one, when they lost against the suit guys, and just how, like, devastating it was. And it's kind of cool to have, like, you gotta learn from this experience. It can't be easy.
You picked a couple of ones which are not usually picked, which I'm really happy about.
Shall we move on into the summary?
Oh, is that all the questions? Yeah. So let's do it.
Sure.
Let's go to the volume summary.
Yay. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because for the first time, a guest is going to be starting a volume recap. I'm quite looking forward to it. Go right ahead. Where do we start off?
Yeah. Okay, because I don't know. I listened to the latest episode and then I was like, okay, I need to try to, like, do the same amount of, like, summer. I don't know. Well, we'll see how this goes. But 134, the kid reaches Hyusei, and it's kind of cool that Gatlin manages to fire his gun even after being cut in half, and then he bails out, as do the others near him. And it is funny, the other soldiers don't, and there's no bailout for the dogs, so tier. And they're not, and they kind of point out, like, it's not that surprising they can bail out as both sides learn from the other, yada yada. Reghi, I think his name's a lot longer, tells Hyusei to capture Yotaro to prove he's not a traitor. And I just find it interesting that they call Earth Midan. It just makes me think of, like, Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings a little bit. And then the kid gives Hyusei a friendship bracelet, the cool sword, and then we see that Jin is also watching. And, like, Jin, I wish we kind of knew, like, he was like, I wish we could see him and them at the same time, so we could be, like, staring down at them from a roof and just have it be really awkward. But he's, like, he's a bit further away, so they couldn't, like, look up and see him. But they see, like, a camera's watching them, which is why Reggie is like, Reggie!
That's just what Matt Check called it last month.
Yeah. He's Reginald. What's the problem? Yeah, he's Reginald. Just go ahead. Yeah.
You tricked me into saying the wrong pronunciation the whole episode.
Well, I think Lum called Hughes Hughesay, and I was like, wait, what's his name?
That's the thing. A lot of people call it differently, but I think right now Ace calls him Hughes, and I usually go by Ace's pronunciation.
Because, like, I haven't watched any of the anime, but I think if I did, it would definitely help me with character names and kind of, like, telling characters apart, because we learned little Reggie was spared by, I wrote Hughesay lookalike, but then I looked it up, and it's the people, like, from the large-scale invasion, but I was like, what's happening? And Sword Guy. And then Hughesay seemingly stabs the kid. When I read this, I like screamed. And Reggie is angry, saying Affrictora garbage. And he reveals that they were told not to take the captives with them, to dispose of them if they interfere. And he's like, you killed the kid, not me! You bear Maiden's wrath! But it was a logical ruse, he's not dead. I'm really glad it was revealed in, like, one chapter instead of, like, ending a chapter with the kid dead or something, because that would have been, like, heartbreaking. Sword Dragon is beaten by Butterfly. Ray held. In an instant, he gets cut in half, but he bails out. And I think it's, like, head chopped off as well, I don't know. And Jin is like, great acting. And it's like, ha ha ha, sure, that was acting. Everything's fine. And I wonder if this is also a vision cheat where they kind of beat his foresight of, like, maybe he saw Rintaro get stabbed, and but he, like, didn't realize that it was a fake stabbing in his foresight.
I think he was surprised in the previous volume where he, like, didn't expect Yotaro to really go after Hughes, and this is what the surprise was, yeah. And
Hughesay asks to be taken back home as soon as possible, because they're like, oh, we made the promise before, you can, like, finally do it. And say, like, oh, there's a squad for you to join. The bad guys are retreating, but they could still come back. And I like that they're kind of, like, doing this serious talk, and then we cut to the kids playing with the slime trigger because it doesn't vanish. So it is a nice reminder that, like, they are children fighting, but there is still, like, the adults, like, planning and be like, oh, wait, we gotta be absolutely sure that they're gone. They could be using Chameleon. And the baddies start to figure stuff out. They learn, they haven't figured out it could be foresight. They just think there's a leak. And then they talk about the 2 slashes on the same location. And is that them not knowing about operators marking stuff for people? Is that kind of, because the neighbors don't really seem to have operators.
Oh yeah, that is a good point. So, well, they did have their own operator, but maybe like since he kept controlling other Trion soldiers, maybe he's not as versatile with that. So maybe operators have different functions. Yeah, well spotted.
And then the B rank wars round 5 begins.
Rank wars, Shokugeki no Yuma.
We get a bit of an intro into one of my... I didn't say it was my favorites, but Kakizaki is cool because he's just Mr. Stability and his 2 youngins. And then we get to see more of Katori. And we learn that she dropped down because of Takatora 2, and now they gotta make their way back up, and now it's like, oh no, it's personal now. Grudge match.
So basically, yeah, Tamakoma 2 review the tactics of their opponent, highlighting Katori's squad as more ace-focused and Kakizaki as more flexible all-rounders. And Osamu kind of puts emphasis on Chika as the key player of the squad, as the only sniper combatant, and correctly predicts a stage with a lot of high buildings. That stage being the Industrial Zone, as we see Kakizaki squads meeting. The friendly but occasionally oblivious captain, Kunihara Kizaki, addresses his 2 pupil teammates, Fumiketa Yuria and Torotaro Tomoya. Try saying that quickly 5 times. Although for some reason I struggled much more with the first name. And he states that they should avoid one-on-ones with either ace. While acknowledging Tamakoma's ambition, Kakizaki asserts that they can't afford to go easy on them. Some clear concern for their team's placement in the rankings weighing on his mind. Over in Katori's squad's meeting, things are not going well, as gunner Rokuro Bakamura tries in vain to motivate his captain, the most grumpy person it is possible to be while reclining on a cushy beanbag, Yoko Katori. Team attacker Yuta Miura watches on in dismay as, despite pointing out Yoko's inability to truly commit to improving, Katori continues to give him the cold shoulder and refuses to acknowledge his advice due to the gap in their skills. The match soon starts, and Chika activates Bagworm as Tamakoma aim to regroup. However, Yoko intercepts Yuma en route. Kakizaki squad hold off for the skirmish, but Tamakoma and Kotori squad go all in. Osamu rains down asteroid on Yoko, leading to her to target him. However, something appears to trip her up. Osamu's spider! Chika readies a shot at her, but Miura intercepts, taking a lead bullet to the arm. Any attempt to retaliate on Wakamura's end is cut short by the even more dexterous than usual Yuma, who is swinging and bouncing around on Osamu's wires. While remarking on this clever play in their commentary, Izumi points out that how Spider can be made more visible to allies than enemies. While Kotori squad remain on the defensive, Kakizaki squad move in. Kakizaki overcomes Kotori squad's shield quite easily and forces them back. Meanwhile, Kotori squad are forced into a tough position, but their operator Hana Some takes charge, telling them to retreat further into the open area. This is very effective, as it actually ends up luring Tamakoma outside of their wired area, with the goal of snagging a few points off them. Kakizaki retreats, and all squads convene with each other as the battle lulls, and Tamakoma uses this downtime to expand their wire territory. Teamwork between the members of Kotori squad is still very fraught, as both them and Kakizaki squad come to the same conclusion. Tamakoma are so desperate for points that they will emerge from their trap to snag them. So Kakizaki opts to pursue Kotori squad, while Kotori squad attempts to lure Kakizaki's lot into the alleyways. Just then, a shot from Chika's Ibis devastates the nearby buildings, raining down lots of debris right near Kakizaki's group.
So we start the next chapter off with the fallout of Chika's cannon, which Kotori didn't even know about because she doesn't even watch the bloody logs. Chika fires like there's no tomorrow, which Tokieda remarks is meant to draw Kotori and Kakizaki squad out into the wire zone. Kakizaki chooses to wait until Kotori squad makes a move, and luckily, Ahana guesses that he wants both of them to move into the wires and target Chika at the same time. Kotori grumbles and grumbles, but listens to her operator. On the commentary side, we see Izumi has noticed that Chika has made Tamakoma the main target. But this is all according to Osamu's Keikaku. Tamakoma has locked the opposing squads in 2-on-3 matches. Osamu versus Kotori squad, and Yuma versus Kakizaki squad, with Chika and the wire zones supporting both. So Izumi channels Hayden Christensen and says, "This is where the fun begins." And as Kotori and her flunkies try to cut through the spiderweb, Osamu steadily retreats. Doing so, he thinks back to Kitora's advice about being able to provide support even when he gets taken out. In his thoughts, he says, "Thank you, Kitora. Now I can fight without hesitation." At the same time, Yuma declares that he'll be taking 3 points from Kakizaki. Yuma makes sure to fight close to Kakizaki, making it harder for Tomoe and Teria to hit the opponent without shooting the captain. But when they decide to switch to close combat, Kuga uses the wires to withdraw. Kotaro uses his usual strat of launching some hound bullets in a random direction to pursue the enemy, and then launching himself at Yuma with his Kogetsu. But then Yuma bounces him upwards with a grasshopper, Kataya readies a shield for sniper fire, but then Chika shoots his arm with a lead bullet. Kotaro falls to the ground and Yuma decapitates him. Kotori seems to relax in glee, hearing that Kakizaki is losing in numbers, much to Wakamura's dismay. Hana urges them to take out Chika quickly, but Yoko stresses that Osamu is the easiest to kill, so they should start with him. As Wakamura distracts Chika, the other two hone in on Osamu, who has created visible red wires on the way. Kotori knows that it's supposed to steer her attention away from the less visible wires, but still trips on one, and Chika gets her leg. Teria from Kakizaki squad sees that Kotori is not acting at all and decides to go after Chika herself. Kakizaki is surprised by her choice and lets her go. Staring down Kuga, he's determined to create an opening for his teammate. We flash back to 4 years ago at a PR border event, when Kakizaki, still a member of Arashiyama's squad, is answering the audience's questions alongside his captain. So someone asks him if he would prioritize protecting his family or the people, and he's like, no, suddenly I have no media training. And then Arashiyama steps in to say that, of course he would protect his family, but when the journalists dig into his remarks, he manages to spin that into a positive, even calling to action for more financial support. Back in the present, Terrier leaps away from Yuma's range and plans on how to sneak up on Chika, favoring a direct approach. Tokieda notices Kakizaki's growth, recalling that usually he would keep everyone close together and only have his teammates deliver the decisive blow when it's clear that they'll hit. Flashing back to the, flashback, Kakizaki's internal monologue reveals that he has left the PR squad due to his confidence issues. But then Ayatsuji lets her friend Madoka know that he'll need an operator for his new squad, and the two talented recruits join them soon after. Kakizaki isn't sure he deserves this, but both Terrier and Kotaro say they were inspired by his TV performance. As Kakizaki is pushed back by Yuma, the all-rounder thinks he doesn't deserve his teammates and that he's failed as a captain, unable to bring out the true strength and bring them up higher than the middle B-rank tier. Determined to show off the true value of his team, he grabs onto Yuma's arm while he gets stabbed with the other scorpion. While close to bailing out, he doesn't release Yuma from his grasp. He says that he's got no intention of handing over victory to Yuma, and shoots through his stomach with his asteroid, ending Volume 16. I keep having more and more notes. I should make them more concise. Oh god. Alright, shall we do general thoughts now?
Sure.
Yeah. This is one of the first volumes for me where it really stings not to have the second half of a battle.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff I want to talk about in the next volume, but because we are doing this, volume by volume, I have to kind of keep it confined to what's in these chapters.
Yeah, I thought that the cliffhanger really worked well this time though, and this is probably my favourite rank war of them all. Both of Tamakoma's opponents I find really interesting, since they're flawed in very different ways. Katori and Wakamura have a kind of abusive relationship, and the framing is very appropriately uncomfortable. They never pass a chance to demean each other, and with Miura's passivity, Hana's the only one keeping the four together. Honestly, I keep having thoughts that she should be the leader like Kusakabe is. Kakizaki, meanwhile, is tormented by his unadventurous leadership in the face of the two aces in the making that he's been given the chance to work with. They're like Azuma squad, but if Azuma was insecure. Kendra, what did you think about this volume?
This is also one of my favorite fights, just because it's very satisfying to have, after they got that kind of crushing defeat, now they can be we're starting to use the wires, and we kind of get to see how it works against some. I think we've seen a bit of Katori, and we know how strong she is, so the fact that it's working against her, and also just, how when people, could get, frustrated with it, so kind of the fact that she's a bit rash, she's like, God, I'm gonna keep trying, and, God damn it, it fooled me again. She just keeps stepping on that rake. She's Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, I feel like Katori is the kind of character where in another series I could easily see them being sort of an antagonistic rival that kind of gets to ride their shitty behavior and, torment the character more, but in this series, it just constantly blows up in her face.
Yeah, it doesn't pay off.
I was gonna say, all the panels where she trips on the wires are so fucking funny.
And she just cuts off her, her fellow teammate's arms, but then she'll also cut off her leg with no hesitation. She'll be like, okay, let's go.
She is the meme from a particular Gundam show where there's a guy going, I'm a genius! Oh no! Just that meme as a person. One nice thing that makes the team feel even more dysfunctional, which, like what Wensleydale touched on, is that even though Wakamura can clearly identify what the problem is, he doesn't have all the answers. He slips up in the field and, he has no plan under file from Kakizaki, and he targets Osamu when, Yuma is clearly still a problem. And then he also, loses his temper in the field, he's, yells at Tamakoma and calls them jerks. But then, at the same time, he is also very aware of that lack of power.
Yeah, he has all the answers, but no human touch. If life is subtraction, your number is off. If love is a fraction, it's not adding up.
Song.
It's Goodbye Mr. A, I think. Found out about this from Abigail Thorne's video essay on Jordan Peterson. Never mind.
Goodbye, Dr. P.
Famous Canadian export. I'm so sorry, Kendra.
I'm so lost, but I'm Canadian, so I feel bad. Oh well.
Yeah, the match is also a great payoff to what Chika and Osamu have been working on, even when they make themselves the target, like what they did to Arafune's squad. Things like seem to be going the way. It's just they're just very good at what the strategy does. It doesn't really have any twists and turns, but after the past failure, I think this works really well.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, like, after their first comeback match, it kind of presents this interesting challenge where they have one squad that has lost to someone they've already beaten, but are clearly capable of being in the top bracket on their A game, and then they have another squad that is in a very similar position to them.
They have like two squads who put the dysfunction and or function and dysfunction or whatever. It's like they're both broken in different ways and kind of like I feel like at least Takatoma 2, I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologize, but they like they work well, they work better together, even though I think they could work on like communication maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that is one interesting thing that I observed here, and that, like, you have the contrast between Katori and Kakizaki, where the former does not listen to her teammates at all, whereas the latter is just about starting to when Teruya goes on to pursue Chika, and, you know, by comparison, like, Osamu doesn't really have that dilemma at all. Like, Yuma and Chika just fully take on the tactics that he dishes out, and they don't tend to improvise very much. Obviously, that is primed to change with a fourth member on the way, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that as well, because Reginald is honestly the MVP for these past two volumes for me. Like, his impulsive nature makes the plot more dynamic, and his personal grudge against Avto adds an additional element of intrigue to the story that really makes the Gallopolland invasion arc enjoyable. I really liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I love the shot of him as a kid, because it's kind of like when he was a kid, he wished they had taken him. Do you think that's kind of what's happening, or he's just kind of like, is he not really thinking of that?
I think it's more kind of conceptual, like, it's giving it's contextualizing why he both hates them, but is also kind of reverent to them. Like, he kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I guess he can't imagine working with Meiden or Border to try and work against them, despite the fact that they both have the same enemy here.
Oh, that ties well into even like the team battle, because they work together, or they save their opponents from their opponents, but the neighbors aren't willing to do that or something. I don't know if I'm going anywhere with that.
Yeah, and I think another thing is that the anime really nicely frames a lot from his point of view in this scene. Like, when he goes into the flashback, when he's receiving the call, and he's just getting increasingly heated, the whole world, like, distorts around him into it, which is a good, like, metaphor for, like, his state, how his perception of the way things are is distorted by how much he views things through the lens of hating Avto. It's kind of a similar thing when Hughes finally takes him out. Like, there's this point of view shot of him, and it sort of judders up and down as he's trying to get a good look at Hughes, and you can't even see Yotaro through all the Lamberis. But then instantly it cuts straight to just him getting sliced. And it's very effective of kind of how disorienting that experience would be for him.
That Rinjiro was like smart enough to just lie there for a little bit and pretend to be dead. Instead of just be like, what was that about? Or that, like, the capybara or whatever the big thing is, it didn't, like, charge and be like, how dare you.
I really like Hughes being tricksy here and using the fact that border weapons can't harm civilians without Reggie's knowledge. Although, to be fair, I don't know if he knew that, or if he just knew that because he bent the blade, right? So he knew what was established before, that Scorpion's blade can be bent however basically he pleases. And since he's really good at try and control, he was able to do that quick maneuver.
He taught him so much. He taught him how to act.
One thing I do go back and forth on is how rehearsed that is, because Yotaro is clearly acting independently in going to find Hughes. but he also seems to, like, know what's going on, and he even, in the anime, it's him who, like, names the technique of, like, the fake stabbing. So I have to wonder if maybe the two of them were, like, at some point play fighting in the training room or something, and just came up with this.
Honestly, I thought it was just I wrote it off as just World Trigger characters being very phlegmatic, even goofy ones. So I thought that it was like Yotaro being like, "Oh no, I'm dead. Oh well."
And I appreciate how fast it was too. Like, it was really an instant of facing off. Of like, they both unleash their triggers, and then it's just over. Instead of being, like, dragged out.
On the, like, more on the thing surrounding Hughes and Yotaro, I really love the panel of Hughes using Lambiris in a protective fashion around him. It both satisfies my quota of things billowing in the wind, and it's just a really good visual shorthand for how his character's allegiance has shifted. In contrast to, like, you know, in the invasion arc, the Lambiris looked very intimidating. And then later on, Hughes just gives it right back to Yotaro without any prompting. It's like it's really cute. It's like a sign that he really trusts him.
Or it's just interesting that he also, like, realizes that he can't just, like, fight his way out. He needs to be like, okay, I need to be realistic. There's that promise. They're gonna get me there somewhere. So there's that trust there, like you said.
Yeah, he knows that he has to make that goodwill gesture to get everyone on his side to do what he needs to do. A detail I've missed. Gallop-Poland was supposed to return again in the first place, since they're going to be in orbit for a while.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I found interesting about that scene is, like, the interior shots of the Gallipol ship have, like, the black pages around the panels. It kind of shows the claustrophobic nature of the space that they're in. And I'm wondering if maybe this is a technique that Ashihara is going to use during the away mission when they're in the ships.
Are you saying the space between the the online theatre performance I was in World's Elsewhere Theatre Company?
Oh my god, it was a low-key plug all along. Who would have thought?
Anyway. I really like this line. I thought that this was the funniest line. Osama's saying, Kakizaki Squad has no specific ace. The strategy is that everybody focuses on attacking. Thanks, Osama.
And that's, like, it just makes me think of, like, how hard it was to try to pick somebody for Libro as, like, for the volleyball thing, is that everyone's attackers, they all fight, besides, like, operators.
Yeah. I was thinking it would just be Kazama, the stealthy A-rank fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's very short.
You're right.
Another detail I noticed about Kotori is she's very much contrasts with Arifune, where one switches fighting style upon mastering one, whereas the other does it when they kind of failed. It's like, okay, I'm not instantly good at this, I want to try something else.
And this is my random nitpick. There's Kotori and there's Kotora, and I'm like, this is so confusing.
Yes.
I'd be like, wait, okay, I need to get it right.
Yep.
This is just me yelling.
And now you know how we feel with Jujutsu, with Satoru Goju and Suguru Gageta.
No, that gets me too. I'm like, wait, which one is which?
Gojo and Jogo as well, and they fight. This is the first fight we see Gojo in, and what?
Yes, I'm glad other people agree with, like, sometimes it's confusing, especially if, like, the start of the name is the same. I'm just like, I've lost it.
It's easy to identify the characters by design, but not by name.
Oh well.
The volcano person, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Mr. Volcano!
I forgot he had a name, to be honest. I was like, Volcano Man. Keep forgetting he's not dead.
I'm just going to double over Jujutsu Kaisen and just give that volcano character the Volvic Volcano's voice.
Hello, Tyrannosaurus Alan!
Please, Hoven, there's only so many Tyrannosaurus Alan references we can get here, please. I love Kotori not even knowing about Chika's canon at this point. It's just great. It just shows how belligerent she is in the face of a loss.
Ooh, but I think it's all the Kakizaki Squad. They didn't know about the lead bullet, so, like, they hadn't really watched records either.
That's because she hasn't used it yet in any fight. This was a surprise.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
The cannon, how powerful she is, that was used in the previous fights. So she was a demolishing machine. So yeah.
Also, it's a good setup and payoff of, like, Kotori just completely dismisses, like, okay, so what if they're going for A rank? It doesn't matter how determined they are. And then that ends up being a really crucial thing of how Hana gets them out of trouble.
Yeah.
I love the clang sound effect for Lead Bullet when Kotori gets hit. It looks so good. So huge prop to Ace for that. I've got a note on the flashback. So Netsuki's his hair to 4 years ago is looking good. It's way better than what it looks now. And it's not like he's even hiding a bald spot or something, because like he's got it parted in the middle. So I don't know what's that for.
And I do like for Fumika, but I thought her hair was really short, but it's actually up in braids. Because I was like, what's with her hair? But she has different hairstyles.
The thing I thought about that flashback is, like, on prior read-throughs, I saw Arashiyama's response as very, like, wishy-washy PR, but kind of on a reread, I do find the way he spins, like, that feeling secure about your family into an enlistment ad. I'm like, okay, that's kind of smooth. I see what he's getting at a lot more.
Yeah. It was very technically well done, even though I don't know if it's really that inspiring.
Yeah,
he's good at his job, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's also still a kid, really. Like, I forget how old he is here.
Yeah, I think he's like 14 or 15 at this point. But yeah, I guess the kids were really easily impressed. I thought Usami, that's the Osama Squad's operator, her immediately jumping to compliment Chika's lead bullet when Kotaro gets taken down, I thought that it was really sweet, so bless her.
She's so nice.
She's lovely. Yeah, so I've got my assortment of anime notes, as usual. Some highlights include, there's a very fun cocky hand movement from Tachikawa when he talks about overcoming Jin's projection. It's a nice little embellishment. Miura's plea to Hana when Wakamura and Katori are arguing, it's done as, like, inner monologue in the anime, whereas I'm pretty sure in the manga it's just straight up dialogue. Which I guess it creates a very different idea of how he deals with these situations. Whereas in the manga, he kind of like, oh no, do something about it. Whereas the anime, he just kind of thinks it really, really hard to himself.
Read my mind, Hannah.
And then also Katori being caught by the wire, it's much more blatant in the anime. Whereas in the manga, you could kind of easily maybe miss it if you weren't paying attention. Which I guess in that point, like, emphasizes the action more than the sense of the point of view.
The fight in the anime was really well paced, and back when we first watched it, we like how it's slowed down for the impending flashback afterwards.
Yeah, Madoka's voice actor really emphasizes her carefree, jolly disposition, which made a lot of the line reads like very different to how I imagined them in the manga, kind of like with Kikuchihara's comments in the last volume. I think one in particular was when Kakizaki made kind of an oblivious statement about, like, oh, Yuma seems like a great guy. And I kind of thought, like, in the manga, it was like, well, that tells me nothing. Whereas, like, she's more kind of laughing, like, oh, my silly captain, in the anime.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's just because she has this kind of non-standard mouth. So Teruya and Kotaro were inspired by Kakizaki's... I'm sorry, Kendra, this isn't going to make sense to you, but this is an in-joke for the podcast. Teruya and Kotaro were inspired by Kakizaki's TV performance, but maybe they would end up in Kuruma Squad instead if they saw his superior acting skills. Come on!
Oh.
The commentary teams invented the name Wire Zone for the area covered by Osama's spider. Do you think that if it was Kazama doing it, it would be called the Daily Wire Zone?
Gosh. One last comment I have on the anime is kind of... It's interesting because now we come out of the invasion arc, and you get, like, the contrast of, like, day scenes versus night scenes. Like, I know we could not expect anything more, and to be clear, I really, really like the recent seasons of the World Trigger anime. It has a bit of a Marvel movie conundrum, where the clear daytime scenes look a bit flat, but then, like, any scene in a controlled or dark environment looks way better. Specifically, I think, like, when they're outside, or when they're just chilling around the base, I'm like, I could use a few more, like, lighting effects here. But whenever they're, like, it's nighttime, or the lights are down, or, like, they're, like, inside the training rooms, it looks way better. So, I don't know.
I thought the original anime was pretty good at, like, evening lighting, like the sun setting.
It is the definition of a nitpick, considering that most of Season 2 is set in the environments where it looks nice. But yeah.
I don't think I have any more random observations.
Neither do I.
Kendra?
I don't have anything really to add. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to watch the anime, but I plan to. I'm just lazy and time. But it looks cool. I like it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. We meant more so about the volume. If you've got anything else.
Oh, I liked it overall. I think the ending was like a bit abrupt. Like you guys said, the fact that it doesn't have the whole like match in it really hits it hard. And but I do like I really like Kakizaki Mountain Man, because that Zaki's mountain. But thank you, Gintama. But I just really like him. I think he really stands out. So it's nice to have like kind of like the nice boy, and then we have the very rude lady. And just kind of like the starting of it, kind of finishing off with like Rincho and Hyusei like actually being friends, and that he like didn't betray the. I just think it's very sweet. But it's nice that he's willing to like swallow his pride. But it is very funny because when they did the flashback with Reggie, I like thought that one of them was Hyusei's master because they looked so much like him. But it's actually just the people from the invasion earlier, and not Hyusei's master. I just was like, I can't remember faces.
Aww.
We should do a World Trigger Twitter account just called Incorrect World Trigger, where it's like, now on the latest episode of World 16.
Oh no! When we get to spoiler, I have a really bad one.
Perpetual Glances has to fight the mean lady.
No, you guys are just lucky that I looked up characters beforehand. Otherwise, I would be so much worse.
No, I'm kind of missing that Ultimate Dimension Duckface Diaries episode 16 where Kendra doesn't know any of the names and just uses nicknames for everyone.
Well, at least in My Hero, I can call them by their quirks, like Sugar Man, because I can't remember his name.
And here you're like, well, the guy who has the Tryon thingy.
You know, the tall sniper that laughs maniacally. That one.
Yeah. You're like, who? And I'm just looking at his Facebook picture. Oh my god, his Wikipedia, whatever picture. But because I read it so fast, I haven't got a chance to live with these characters as much. Like binging, I feel like you don't get names as well. So they are cool characters. I apologize if anyone's like, "How dare she?" I'll be like, "How dare you?" No, it's fine.
Honestly, it's totally fine. I forget these names, and I've like read it 4 times already. So
this arc is one that I've actually because like I binged everything, and then I kind of reread stuff I really liked, and this arc or like fight is one that I reread just because it's so satisfying.
That's really lucky that we invited you over for that then.
Yay.
Nice. All right then. Would that be all? Shall we move on to Ashihara Comments Corner?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Okay, so Gatlin, one of his likes is family. I can't wait for Vin Diesel to play him in the Hollywood live-action adaptation.
Oh, it is very sweet. He's a dad. He has a dad bod.
He is basically the dad. He Rata's dad, and made him in his image.
I like that the early drafts of Rata basically gave him the 10 rings from Shang-Chi. That could have been cool to see.
I appreciate that it points out like he faced off against like this amount of border agents and still like held his ground, so, like how strong he was, and like how like they kind of needed to use the foresight to beat him. Really.
Yeah, he's also Gallipoland's boss in charge, as opposed to a boss not in charge, I suppose.
Yeah, what did he mean by the youth in charge? Which youth is in charge?
Yeah, like I don't know who's the boss here. I think in like your previous one you talked about like, oh, it turns out this guy's the boss, and I'm like, I don't fucking know who's the boss here. Everyone's a boss.
Well, I guess it makes sense since like Rata kind of, for reasons unknown, acts like he's in charge of the whole operation. Then Naomi basically commands the Tryon Force, and as the operator commands everyone behind the scenes. Basically, Reggie commands the Tryon Soldier Force. I guess, is anyone else in charge this volume?
Ratricon, we got one. He's the neighbor who I keep thinking is a border agent because he looks so normal. And I was like he was bailing out, and I was like, wait, where are you going? But he's like, oh wait, he was a baddie, and he's like, he likes white wine, and it's like, dude, you're 17, so clearly the neighbors do not have alcohol laws.
I mean, his name kind of sounds Slavic, so we start drinking at the age of 9, de facto. So.
Or he could be Canadian, like Canadian, like you can almost drink it when you're 18. So yeah, they're Canadian, like yeah.
Yeah.
Reigi's trigger, it sounds a lot like an Earthbound or a Toby Fox enemy, the Thugator. Like, I'm just imagining, like,
Yes, it's so funny!
just like an alligator with, like, sunglasses and, like, a spiked collar blocks your path.
What is like interior crocodile alligator? I drive a Chevrolet movie theater is like a meme thing from a long time ago.
I vaguely remember something like that.
It's my turn to have weird songs. Ha ha ha.
A note on Yomi. So, Jesus, not only is he the most OP operator in the series, no pun intended, he's also the head of the Galapolish Research and Development Department.
He knows his stuff. I do like that he has like the silliest, his like side effect is, I think you pointed out last time, it's very long. And it is interesting that I do love that like not everyone has like a super powerful side effect. Besides like him, obviously. Like a lot of other people, but I don't know.
Absolute parallel simultaneous celebration. Once the mission is successful, they will have an absolute parallel simultaneous celebration.
Hey. I like the detail that Wakamura likes Hana when she's studying. What is meant by this? Is it like a...
I think it's a crush thing.
He has a crush on her thing, or is it more of a, it puts me at ease sort of thing?
It means that it means that Katori Squad is just Yoko, Hana, and the Sims.
Because it's funny, because the guy who talks back to Katori...
that's Wakamura.
he's the one who likes Hana, maybe. Mm-hmm. But the guy who keeps quiet, he can't confront... He likes her when she's quiet, and he, like, can't argue with her because he's like, oh my god, I have a crush, I can't do it. Poor guy. Just grow up, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's not much of a spoiler that so Katori, as we know her, when she argues, that means she's in a good mood. At least that's what Wakamura says. I wonder if Miura likes her that way, or does she have even better moods than this?
I like the detail that the variety of Borders gamers is expanding, with Katori being more into mobile stuff and like almost swearing off the medium entirely before that.
Yeah, like she likes video games, but she like wouldn't let anyone play them. And I just about like she's like any amount of power, she's just like goes to her head. Even though she likes them, she's like, no, it's a distraction.
This is the same energy as like the parents who are like, don't go on the internet, it'll rot your brain, and then it's like turn around and be like, I get all of my news from memes.
Because I think like the mobile games is them sneaking it in without her permission. Really, is a way to like have her not notice.
Get it in under her thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Oh right, so you're saying that the others in the squad get into mobile gaming and not...
Yeah.
Okay, I completely read that the other way. That does make a lot of sense.
It could be either one. Mm-hmm.
There's too much gacha in the world.
I got an S rank mean girl.
Katori likes rice crackers like Jin. Interesting opportunity to bond in the future, maybe.
Jin just gives her some of that dank kush and just chills her out forever.
Oh yeah, I forgot it was on meme that like these rice crackers were edibles. Okay.
Oh, because I was like, what is good? I thought you were saying you should bang her. I was like, what is happening? Sorry. I was like, what? I was like, okay, weed.
Let me actually look this up. Did I say that by accident? Dank kush.
No, you're right. Urban Dictionary, dank kush is a weed of the highest quality.
Okay.
I was Googling it because I was like, I am misunderstanding something, so I am going to stay silent.
Anything else? Oh yeah, well, we also get the Kakizaki's strategy room.
It's the one nice one where they're all good boys and girls and they just live sanely.
It's basically Kakizaki's tutoring studio, pretty much.
So I want to join his squad. I'm messy, but he'll keep it clean. It would be the perfect arrangement.
I mean, it would be good for me as well, because having too many distractions would just throw me off, like, my duties, and, like, just be like, no, do this. All the things you need to do your job are here. I was like, oh, nice. Kendra, do you have anything else for the comments corner?
Nah. Or I guess I would just say, like, I like Katori, but I would hate her in real life. Like, I could not... I don't know. If she tried to stop me from playing video games, I'd be like, no. And then she'd be like, I don't know, we would fight.
Yeah.
She's a very entertaining character. She's very dysfunctional also.
Yes.
I forgot the boys don't have anywhere to sit at all.
Yeah, it's so mean.
Oh god.
Because that's her chair is only for her. Only she can sit there. And it's funny because I forgot what I was like, why do they have beds? But that's what they lie on when they go like, we're gonna go into the virtual reality thing to fight. Or whatever.
This is where they bail out. Okay. Alrighty. I think that's all my notes.
Yep. Let's move to the spoiler corner.
Mm-hmm.
Wee. This is the one where I just have the, like, I somehow, when I was catching up, I did not read chapter 200 and 201. So I had no goddamn idea that he was a neighbor. So, like, I think I saw people talking about it for, like, the kid, Rintaro. And so, like, I saw people talking about it. I was like, wait, what? And I had to, like, go on the wiki. Like, wait, when do we find this out? Go back and read it. I'm like, how did I not read this? So it's just kind of funny going back and knowing, like, oh, he's a neighbor.
You're aware who Rhetorikov, the short-haired Galapola guy, is?
Wait, because I am caught up, but now you've confused me.
Yeah, the very, very normal-looking Galapola guy is secretly actually the Prince of Galapola.
Oh, I think that's the one who you guys like. I did not catch on to that. I'm like, it's like Black Clover, and I read it really fast. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I guess I don't know what's happening in World Trigger either. I need to reread.
I could totally understand that. There are a lot of details in here. Black Clover just doesn't catch my attention, but yeah.
Is he the one who he's the one who I just thought was a normie. He's so unassuming. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I guess to prompt, like, so what are some of your favourite moments that we've yet to cover? And what are your thoughts on kind of where the series is at currently, or as far into it as you are?
I really like Hyuse being obsessed with beating Kuga's record, because like Kuga did it in like 2 seconds or something, and he's like, no, I'm doing it in less. Like the record for getting the most points to like join the border. Also, neighbors not knowing what bikes are, just like Hyuse also doesn't know what they are. I do think I have like a crazy theory for the away mission that they're like already on it or something, even though I think we've already seen where they are in these like basically like mini trailer things or something, but I just like it. It's like, oh, actually we're all going da 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 da. I think it's interesting like for what's going on now is like Chika's gonna have to fight her fellow teammates because there is a battle portion to the away mission test. So like, can she shoot them and can they shoot her? And sorry, like favorite moments, I just love when, oh my god, this is gonna mean nothing, but the girl used metal to block the lead bullet. I really liked that moment because that's like, I thought it was in this volume, but it wasn't. I was like, but it's just so cool.
Yes. No, that moment coming up in next volume. And I also, like, I wanted to follow up that comment I made about, like, comparing the judgment call that Kakizaki's able to make to Katori, and how I wanted to follow that with, and that pays off, because she does manage to take out Chika, but I couldn't do it in the main body, because, yeah, of the way we had to split the fight.
One moment that kind of disappoints me that I can't quite remember when it is, it might have been before this, when a guy corners Chika and she can't bail out, and so, like, she gets like, I think when you bail out without getting injured, she couldn't do that, so he, like, took her out, but we don't even see it. I think that might have been in the battle against the Suits.
Against the Suits. Oh, okay, Ninamiya Squad.
The Suits.
Yeah, sorry. This is more of Kendra not knowing the name.
This time on World 16.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Don't apologize, I love it.
And I guess for the away mission, I want Hyuse to live dangerously and just put his hoodie up and hide his horns. I also like the fact that can Kuga read English? Well, because Hyuse can't read Japanese and Kuga can't read Japanese. Can he, like, how come people aren't reading the thing out to him as well? I guess maybe he, like, learned it or something.
That's weird. I remember someone was explaining that to him, like the operator who was afraid of boys. I think he asked how do you read this character or something. Maybe he was learning a bit, but his dad is.
Yeah, that's why he probably actually does know a bit of because the Treon bodies automatically translate. That doesn't do reading, so he probably did just learn from his dad. I just love the Canadian sleep alone joke. That's why he has to. Because I just want someone to be like, even when they're married, but I do like that they're like, in the movies, Canadians seem fine, normal. And he's like, no, that's a lie. But it just makes me laugh so much, because I think when I heard people talking about Canadians in World Trigger, and I thought there was just like an actual Canadian, but no, all the neighbors are just Canadian as deep cover.
So it's just to cater to overseas markets.
I love it. It's very fitting since it's like the dub is produced by a Canadian company, right?
Canada is the least fictional country in World Trigger besides Japan, so how just Mikado City-centric it all is.
And I guess this is kind of... I keep jumping around, I apologize. But for the away mission, I think operators need to, like, be able to fight, or someone needs to stay to protect the operators, because the operators are coming too, right?
Yeah, they must be.
So, like, if they hit the ship, then they're screwed. So I think that'll be interesting if that maybe comes up. Oh, I'm worried about Jin. I'm worried that they're gonna find out a bit about, like, his foresight's gonna, like, betray him, or, like, he'll guess wrong with, like, stuff. Because it keeps, like, oh, we're really lucky we had foresight here. Foresight really helped, but I just could feel it biting him in the ass, and I'm like, eh.
A lot of interesting stuff can happen when you see like a bajillion timelines in future crossroads, and you don't exactly know which action is going to push what. So,
and he sees everyone die twice. Like, a lot of the founding of Border, a lot of them died. So, like, if he must have had his trigger, or oh my god, his side effect then. It's like, everyone he sees dies twice. Tears!
Oh, I didn't even think about that. This must be quite a burden in addition to his already existing duties. Wow. Yay! Child soldiers in a paramilitary organization. Yay, fun times.
Yeah! But I do like the explanation for it, at least, where it's like, oh, the Treon things, like, fade over time, and, like, some of them, like, one guy's, like, 29, and he's a fuse. The guy with the goatee.
Fuyushima?
The guy who's hot. Yeah.
The hot one.
Because he's, like, fairly old. Yeah, the hot one. That's what I was also laughing over. Because I was like, I still know which one I mean. But he's, like, fairly, he's one of the oldest ones we've seen who still has, like, Treon that they can use. There might be an older people.
The guy who looks like Hughes from Full Metal, but is not Hughes because we already have a Hughes.
Rindo.
Rindo, yeah. Rindo is a combatant. Shinoda, like the other Dilf, is a combatant.
Oh.
Yeah. We have only a couple of adults, and it's mostly like veterans from the years prior. But yeah.
And I do want to say, it's for Takatoma, it was really funny that I thought their, like, symbol was a baseball field before it was revealed what it was. Because it's, like, circles in the back, and then there's, like, a circle there, and it looks like a baseball field. Is that making sense?
Wensleydale is a big fan of baseball. They can list all of the rules of the sport.
No! It's a joke because when we were watching Jujutsu Kaisen, I wasn't able to... I know nothing about the rules of baseball, so when exactly are you struck out? And then we were all drunk. Hovin kept explaining it over and over to us. We, like, missed the whole baseball arc in Jujutsu.
So we had to rewatch it, yeah.
I only know baseball because of sports anime. But it's funny, I would say World Trigger scratches a Haikyuu itch for me a little bit.
I can see that.
Because it's, like, almost sports anime. It's not, because people, like, literally, like, in Haikyuu, people tend not to die when playing volleyball. But in this, you do. But, like, I think the rank wars, I think, is a really good way to have, like, the team combat. And you're facing the same opponents again. And, like, learning from each other, trying different moves. It's sports anime, but not really.
I mean, it is. Like, not dying, I don't think it's a qualifier, since, like, in the first chapter of Beast Children, the idol of the main character dies, so...
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just thinking of a line from Haikyuu, because that's what it was.
All right. Shall we move to the Q&A section?
Yes, let's.
Yes. The poop questions.
First question is from Korito Prime on Twitter. If Yuma can eat his Treon body... Wow, okay.
Shit! Please keep that in.
I mean, you're kind of right on the money on shit when it comes to this question.
If Yuma can eat in his Treon body, does that mean Treon bodies can go to the bathroom? Well, Korito, I'm sure they can go to any room in the house, to be honest. Tish.
Is this Luffy sending us a question? Does Yuma poop?
Yeah, I was gonna say this has the same energy as do mermaids poop, but I guess they all eat, but have to be in Treon bodies in space, travel, so physiological functions are retained. I'm not sure what exactly it is, and I can't say I'm looking forward to finding out about that. Looking forward to that. Duckface Diaries, content warning for scat, and content warning for vor.
Content warning for self-cannibalism?
Yeah, sorry. Maybe cut it out because he didn't have warning. But, he coughs up hairballs, and he has to, like, do it sneakily. Yeah, I guess people might realize, because Kuga's always in a Treon body. But like they could be like, why does Yuma never go to the bathroom, guys? Like, what's up with that? So he has to like go there and just sit there and be like, this is so boring.
We know he never sleeps, but when it comes to going to the bathroom, we don't know about that. But since he can eat, I don't know.
The sleeping thing is sad because like everyone's gonna go to sleep during the training and he's up by himself. He's like Alphonse from Fullmetal Alchemist. So I give him an apple pie.
Aww.
Ugh.
I don't know. I'd enjoy that. I would be able to animate more and edit more podcasts. Corito Prime also asked, you think border agents are required to go to therapy/counseling every once in a while, considering part of the training consists of constantly murdering each other? What do you think?
I would hope so, and I think if they did, I think it would have helped. Well, the thing is, okay, I forgot to bring up my Chica stuff in the spoiler section, but do you guys have any thoughts before I go into a Chica rant?
I guess on this one, it's like, I think this is something that Shinoda is open to, and Rindo is pushing for, but the other border execs are being stingy about expenses, and it's like a constant back and forth.
Hovin and I keep joking about the fact that Border HQ as an organization and HQ specifically as a faction is kind of fashy. So I don't think they would. I think that they just tell them to go and play some games or go outside and touch some grass, run in the forest or become pregnant or something to decompress.
It makes me think of oh my god, Nerve with Evangelion, where it's like all these children need therapy. But I think like at least the kids here are a bit more well-adjusted, kind of, just because they have the actual teams, like they have people with them and they can like interact with each other instead of it being like literally almost powered off of their trauma. Unless Trion turns out to be something really weird.
Oh.
So yeah, do you want to go on your Chica rant?
Yes. Because at first they think that Chica doesn't shoot people because she doesn't want to hurt them. And then we get the member, okay, I'm going to say Suit Squad again, who also had that problem. And then, like, if there'd been counseling and something, that would have helped her. Like, I wonder if people talked to her about that or, like, trying to figure that out. And then it turns out, like, oh, Chica doesn't shoot people because she's scared of people, like, being afraid of her, which I think is cool, but it's just very jarring. I apologize. I don't, like, one of the guys who maybe the one who has a crush on Chica is like, oh, Osama, what does Chica think of this? And about something, and he's like, oh, I don't know. And it's because, like, they don't talk to Chica. And they finally, like, realize, like, oh, this is what she really thinks. And it's, like, kind of realize how much, like, oh, they're all friends, but Chica is, like, very shy and very, like, quiet, and I guess, like, doesn't get as much of a chance to, like, talk about it. So I think, like, that reveal of, like, oh, this is why she doesn't shoot people is just, like, I think a really good moment for her character. And then she finally does, and there's, like, some really cool, like, moments, and now we're kind of like, oh, where will she go from here? I don't know. I think Chica, I just want to see more of her and just, like, have her kind of, because she's so strong, I just want her to, like, be able, I'm not even confident, just, like, voice and, like, interact with people more. But maybe she does. Maybe I need to do reread to appreciate Chica better.
She has a lot of nice moments with, is that Hatahara? Is that his name?
No, it's Emma.
Emma, there we go, Emma. I'm thinking of a completely different character, and her friends.
Chica is my favorite character, but I agree that sometimes, like, the Tamakoma to report doesn't really seem to be very organic. It seems to be very goal focused. And maybe that's the point, but volumes like this one, where we get, like, really relatable stuff, like this kind of dysfunction arguments in the Katori squad, or like the constant insecurity that Kakizaki has, kind of makes me wish that we'd see that, and we'd see more communication like that in Tamakoma.
Or just like the goofing around that Konami and Scruffy Hottie get up to, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to do before the round off is I want to shout out a video that Matchuk has just linked me by /Oreos Are Good For You on the World Trigger subreddit, who played a cover of the Season 2 opening, Force, in Genshin Impact. I was so impressed by this that I just felt the need to shout it out on the podcast. Go give it a look. It's really nice.
All right then, so shall we round off?
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to do it for the 16th episode of Duckface Diaries. You can listen to us on so many podcast hosting sites: Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Breaker, Overcast, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Podbay, Play FM, Listen Notes, Castro, Google Podcast. Patreon.com/Wensleydale Cheddar is where all the links are. Everything is in the pinned post. That's also what helps me pay the bills. So if you want me to devote more time to making the show better, consider supporting me there. In return, you can get your name in the YouTube credits or a World Trigger Duckface avatar. Plus, you can help me reach more ambitious goals like reviving World Trigger Abridged. And remember that much like the neighborhood, the YouTube algorithm is a dark abyss of sorrows and woes from which channels like these never resurface, and what helps us navigate it is liking, subscribing, and sharing the podcast with a friend. On the YouTube channel and the same RSS feed, you get access to not only Duckface Diaries, but Manga Mosaic, a collection of podcasts and video essays on other manga titles, short and long alike. Coming soon on the same channel, Podcast Mon Adventures, our new retrospective when we cover the Pokemon special manga arc by arc, along with the host of the Pink Ale Pod, Henry Kathman. Kendra, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Sniper of My Heart, and I do have 2 podcasts. I have the My Hero podcast at MHA Pod, and the Haikyuu one, which is in hiatus. The View from the Top, you can follow that on Twitter at Haikyuu Pod. Find me in the future.
Amazing. Do you have, I believe you have a Patreon as well where people can support you financially, right?
I think it's just MHA Pod on Patreon, but if you give us $5, you can listen to the JJ, My Jujitsu Academia. But also I think for $1, if we also cover Vigilantes as well, and we did a bonus episode, but that's going to come out when My Hero's on hiatus. But if you want to get it early, you can listen to it there. Woo.
Yay! Hovin was also on some of the early episodes of MHA Pod as well, so go look for that.
Yes, I was on one covering the main series on one of the Vigilantes episodes.
Woo! We should have you back sometime. Yay!
Nice. Also, Hovin, plug our sister show.
Yes, HOVIN'S Hideaway, series of podcasts where we talk about various topics, mainly manga. And on my YouTube channel, and on the HOVIN'S Hideaway feed as well, I have recently posted a video on JoJo Leon. Yes, I have suddenly caught up with all of JoJo's, and it feels weird. So if you want to know my thoughts on that, give it a look. The first 5-ish minutes of the vid are spoiler-free for the part, but then after that I go into spoiler talk, so yeah.
And once again, you can find all the links to that in the description or in the pinned post at patreon.com/Wensleydale Cheddar. Send us emails, questions, comments, suggestions at wensleydale012@gmail.com, or follow us on Twitter at Duckface Diaries, or individual Twitters at Wensley Cheddar and at Hovin with an H. Once again, follow Kendra at Sniper of My Heart. I was going to say Sniper King 3 to 3, but that's Colton.
Yes, Colton, my nemesis.
Manga Mavericks have so many rivals. Follow MHA Pod at MHA Pod, as well as the View from the Top at Haikyuu Pod. And a sincere thank you to Milo Jack Sillett, who composed our ending theme, an orchestral rendition of Giri Giri, the first opening sequence for World Trigger. You can find his work at soundcloud.com/Milo Jack Sillett. What are we covering next time?
Next time, we are covering Volume 17 of the manga, which covers chapters 143 to 151, and is also adapted across Season 2, Episodes 7 to 10. Although only the start of episode 10.
Alrighty then. Kendra, it was very lovely to have you on the show. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. It always trips me up when I listen to the intro to your podcast. I always think that the person who sings that sings, "This is My Hero Academia. This is Manga Nudes and More." I always hear it as nudes.
Because
So this week we got a really nice one of Hawks by this artist, and
because someone did it over Fiverr, and Sophie's the one who talked to them, so I don't remember who it was, so I can't even credit them properly. I need to look at emails, but they're very cool. They were very nice to do it for us, but I feel like I need to compensate them more, because Fiverr just gives you $5, and it's we use that a lot, so they're very awesome for doing that. So I need to
amazing.
Reddit. But it is, I don't know. I get the song stuck in my head sometimes, and there was an earlier version they sent us, and I get that one stuck in my head.
Okay, this was the 16th...
This is World Trigger Academia. Manga, anime, news and more. Bugger off now.
This was the 16th episode of Duckface Diaries, and as always, it's time to
bugger off! World 16, defeat the suits.
Man!